Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, I'm a blue dot in a red state, utilizing Tarot to help us navigate these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. Also, just a reminder, subscribe, like, helps to grow my channel. And I really do appreciate it. So I feel like I need to do I'm going to have a new intro for the readings I do, because this is going to be okay, this is not a normal reading. It's not a normal reading. So what I've been feeling is like I need to do an update to, all roads lead to the Tower card. Okay, and that's what this is. However, I'm going to be utilizing the reading that I did for the June energy. Because after week one, I was like, this sounds really familiar. And I went back and looked. I was like, oh, yeah, that all happened. And that's part of another reading. Actually, I'm going to be kind of redoing backseat reading, my own reading for in that week for something else. What I want to look at is weeks 3 and 4, which we're getting ready to come up. I'm looking at my calendar. Yeah, weeks 3 and 4. And then in that reading, in that June energy reading, I did week 3, week 4, and then I had a final, like, what is Anonymous going to release? Okay. And so what I want to do, I've pulled out all the cards. I mean, if I was really great at editing and all that stuff, I would splice stuff together, but I was like, I'm not doing that. So what I've done is I've pulled the cards out, and for week, what was it? Week 3, week 4, and then the final, the final message type cards. And I want to go back through, and I'm gonna backseat read my own readings and tell you now, like, with the information we kind of have now, I can put a better context on this. Those, June energy, like when we do an energy reading, that's just a blind reading. It's like, I have no idea. I mean, and I will say everything fit very well within like that context. But now that we have some other things going on, I think I have a much better kind of view. And this is just a great example of why it is nice to go back and look at some of those other readings and see, like, okay, where was it just spot on? Where was it? Okay, well, that energy fit within that, but this is actually what happened. So anyway, it's nice to go back. And now with this reading, it was blatantly clear. It was just like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to get right into it right now for you. Okay, as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. And okay, so this was week 3 that I put out, and the very first card that came out was the Justice card. And it was in that reading, I was like, I don't know what's going on in mid-June. Well, it could be that maybe we're getting some Supreme Court, rulings, like the nationwide injunction, and then that was attached to birthright citizenship. So that absolutely is what, I mean, those rulings are expected. That's going to be coming out. Okay, so that absolutely encompasses this. But you want to know what other court case that is going on right now that is of great national interest? Is it Rockland County, New York, where they're doing the hand recount with the election results. So what happened there in Rockland, just there somehow a case got before one of the Supreme Court judges there in New York, and it had to do with these election results don't make sense. And she looked at the evidence and said, you're right, hand count. I think that next week, or by the time we get this, the week of June 15th, we're going to be getting the results of that hand count, of at least some of that hand count, if not all of it. And it kind of read the way the numbers were. It's like, oh, that sounds like they're kind of small counties. And this is shedding a light, putting it all out on the table. Okay, putting it all out on the table. We're going to be hearing, this is the beginnings. Okay, it's the beginning message. It's the beginning of looking at election fraud, our votes. These pentacles are going to be our votes. Okay, and that, if you know, I've been getting agreements that were made that were supposed to stay hidden. Okay, that's the past for this. So things that, decisions that were made, agreements made that were supposed to stay hidden. We now have a court case bringing it to light, and we're going to start getting some of those results as it relates to the election and our votes. Okay, so that is, as I said, the week of June 15th. Okay, now the week of June 22nd, that next week, the fourth week, here we go. Buckle up. Let me get these other cards kind of out of the way there. I've got cards everywhere here. Okay, so with that fourth week, the week of the 22nd, okay, that was some clarifying cards. That was, okay, hold on just a second. Let me get these kind of set out here for easier access. Okay, so with that final week, I got that the Seven of Wands is overcoming, and then I now am going to read this like our country overcomes. Okay, so that is the heart of that last week. Is the message is our country is going to overcome this. Okay, now we're getting ready to go. I mean, June is going to be pretty bumpy. Okay, this is having to defend your position, but that we overcome. Okay, now whenever I had put these next cards out, I had looked at them and I was like, they're all looking to the past. Like everybody is looking here like to something that happened in the past. And so what I got, like what the energy, what was this? Our options is, something with, Mad King Dawn. Past experiences was MAGA. A recent influences was this King of Swords, which I have no idea who this is. I think I do, and I'm going to go through that here. And then the Queen of Cups, like our emotions, like emotional nurturer, caregivers, all of these are looking to the past. And what I got for the past was a state of suspension, needing to take a step back. This is actually battle weary. And I mean, I think we all feel battle weary. And, the just passionate, like being very passionate about, what comes out of this. So like after a state of suspension, needing to rest, battle weary, it's like these passionate, and it also even could be like those agreements, passionate agreements that have come to fruition, that have come to light. Okay. And then I wanted more clarification on, what was it? Probably the Queen of Cups, because that one was kind of that was weird. Like our potential here is, our potential, our future card was actually looking to the past, which now, if we're talking about election fraud coming to light, the future of our country is dependent upon looking to the past. And so I did put more clarifier cards out on that. And, I want to make sure I got the order of these. If we look at the election and remember how we were feeling, we were all very anxious leading up to that, but we were all extremely hopeful because we saw the crowd sizes. We saw the excitement. I mean, we were there, we remember it wasn't that long ago. And we remember the excitement and the momentum that Kamala Harris had. And we really thought we were going in a new direction with our country, and then the disappointment, okay? Major disappointment, okay? And so, so what this is I think that those original week 2, we start getting, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of doing like that recount, especially in the swing states. Okay, so this is the beginning. This information comes out the third week, the week of the 15th. That following week, we get, we're looking to the elections. I think that there's going to be a bigger push for especially those swing states. Okay, now there's a couple of things that I want to talk about here. These two cards right here, the Page of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. These two cards, I want to give credit to David from Twin Tarot. He did a reading and he got these same two cards. And his interpretation, and it was spot on, was, the election was stolen and now it's time to start looking, inspecting the ballots. Okay, he took this as the election, and now from this disappointed election, we're going to take one of these out and we're going to start looking at the actual ballots. We're going to start doing hand counts. And that and then whenever I got these cards like this, I was like, I think I did my reading first, and I didn't get near the clarification that he got. And then I watched his reading. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I hadn't put two and two together yet that I had actually done this reading. And so whenever I was pulling cards out, I was like, oh wait, David got those exact same cards. And so I do want to give him credit, because that interpretation of these two cards was it's spot on. Okay, so our election that was stolen is now going to have they're going to start investigating that more on a bigger scale. Okay, the other thing is this King of Swords. Okay, and I want to let me pull this up here just a little. I want to talk about this King of Swords. I don't know who this is. Okay, and I'm still gonna, I'm gonna go through this whole big thing of like what it could be. I still don't know who this is. Okay, there's another channeler that I have stumbled across, and I have really enjoyed watching her. We're tapping into the same source. That's all I get, the same energy, whatever. Because down to, I even saw her say, or heard her say, it's like I see all these bubbles and they're all like converging, and I'm like, oh, I've actually used the bubble, like I see all these bubbles, converging up at the Tower card. Okay, so what she had got in one of her sessions was that Joe Biden had signed a bunch of executive orders that would reset the government back to his administration if this administration failed. And then the way she worded it, I couldn't tell if she meant like, does that include the executive? Like, what does that all include? Like, was there actually an executive order that, because she said there's an executive order that he signed that resets this back to his administration, that he will resign, hand the reins over to Kamala, and then we're going to, go forward, and that she's actually going to, call for new elections. Okay. So that, as I said, that's what Gia got. I went and looked at what executive orders did President Biden sign in January of 2025? She had said it happened in January of 2025. So I went and I looked, and he did. He signed, he signed, it was like 4 or 5 departments. He signed executive orders that said, basically, if like this chunk of people can no longer serve, then this is now where we go with the order of succession of who's going to be in charge of this agency. And it was like, basically those top people are like the ones that were, going to be confirmed and appointed, all of that. And then if that entire group is gone, that next layer is the Biden appointees, the career, people that have been there, forever. Or however long that position has been there, so that was. Now I did not see the executive branch. Okay, I did not find one that said the entire administration gets reset. Okay, what I did find was these individual agencies, and it was things like, if you were to pick the agencies you need to have continue in time of crisis, it was the Treasury Department, the Department of Homeland Security, Commerce, and Agriculture. There may have been a 5th one, but it was those top ones that, okay, like in a time of crisis, the bare minimum that we need to do is we need to have the Treasury, the Homeland Security, Commerce, Agriculture. That's the way it read. And so I was really surprised. Now, as I said, I did not find an executive order, related to like reinstalling the entire administration. I don't know if she got that piece through channeling or not, but I did find all of the other stuff. So it would stand to reason that if this is all there, I'm sure that there's some contingency plan. So it kind of makes me wonder, if this administration is found to be null and void, is this an executive order that kind of sets us, gives us a moment to kind of like steady the ship? Our country's never been through this before. Okay. And so, it's like, buckle up. Because, It's weird because like I see the news and I get I mean, that anxious feeling that I have, it's like it's there. Okay. But I also have I know where this leads. I know where we get to on the other side of this. Okay. And then I'm going to be real honest. Part of it's like, this is too fantastical. I mean, no. It's just like, none of this is going to happen. We're just going to have to suffer through 4 years of Trump. And even as I say that, every fiber in my being that is not the truth. And I'm like, okay, you're right. I mean, I don't know if this is just like, I am completely open to saying this is wishful thinking. This is like my, psyche's way of like, being able to protect myself to be able to go through these next, horrible years. I don't know. Because I realize there's a really good chance that we're just stuck. Nothing that I'm seeing in the cards is saying that. That is that Virgo practical side of me. With what I'm seeing here, it's fantastical. And if this all happens, but I mean, that court case in New York, and they do that hand recount, and if that comes out that he did not win, and the other thing is, why did they do that? I was talking with my husband going, why did they do this in like some small county? I mean, I don't know how big the county is, but it doesn't seem like it's a whole lot of votes in some of those precincts that they were talking about. And I'm like, why would they do that? And it's like, so that he would win the popular vote. That fucker. I mean, his ego is that, entertainment purposes only. Be entertained. This is all for entertainment purposes. But so it wouldn't just be the swing states that they would need to look at. They actually would, to get a true count of like the true popular vote, they would have to hand count all of the ballots, not just the swing states. So I don't know what they're going to do, but this is where, executive orders. The other thing is because my husband and I, we were talking, and it was like, but if there's this executive order, then like Trump would have rescinded that. Yeah, but he's not the duly elected president. If it comes out that he's not the duly elected president and this election is put into question, anything that he's done is illegal. He doesn't have presidential immunity because he's not the president. Okay. This is the card out of everything. And I know you would think like, okay, it's the Tower card. Okay. And it's like, no, I know what's going to happen with the Tower card. And when I say this is the harshest card in the deck, I am not. I mean, I don't want to fearmonger. Absolutely do not. But I also don't want to say, oh, it's all going to be puppies and kittens and bubbles and it's all going to be so happy. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. What I'm telling you is that, yes, this is a very harsh card. Buckle up. However, we do get the star card after this. I'm trying to see if I've got that star card out here somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, we do get where we're supposed to be after this. We have to go through this card though. And it's harsh. I mean, we're seeing it right now. Okay. We're seeing what's happened in California. We're seeing this, and it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. I don't know how much worse. Okay. So, but this is the card that whatever this is, if this is an executive order, if it's the courts, if it's Chief Justice Roberts, I mean, hell, I was even talking to my husband saying, like, whenever this happens, the other countries, I mean, this world cannot have an unstable United States. Like, are they going to send, like, it's almost like Macron, is he going to volunteer to, like, come over and, like, let me just steady the ship while, you guys figure this out, or a delegation or something? I don't think that's going to happen, but there's going to be serious world conversations about how this the United States cannot fail. Okay. And that's serious conversations going on with that. Okay. So there's all of that. Now, I did ask a final question, and it was, cause Anonymous has said that they're going to release stuff, on June 30th. And basically it was like things that were once conspiracy are now going to be brought into the light. They're bringing the receipts on something. We don't know what it is. Just something that was a conspiracy theory. I mean, could it be the Epstein files? I mean, if that's hackable, that could be something that could be released. Is it, his health records? Is it, I mean, who knows what it is? Is it about the election? Maybe they did maybe what they release is what, furthers this down the road. I mean, whatever they release is, I guess we'll see on June 30th, but I'm trying to get these cards over here. Okay. And so I did ask that final, like, what's the final message? Is there something from Anonymous? And so I want to go through that now with what that looks like. So let me put these in order. It was like, our country very quick, and as I was doing that reading, I was like, our country very quickly comes to an end. I'm like, oh no, take that back. Roll that back. It's this is definitely our country very quickly. Like, this is going to be like, rip that band-aid off, and we are set on a new path, because MAGA has come to an end. Because sorry, I'm looking here. I think I'm missing a card. Because the people rise up. Oh, that was the other thing. Because the people rise up. Okay. So, yeah, that was what that was. It was, and the people rise up. I had another card here. And let me pause this real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I needed to figure out what this other card was, because I was missing one. So here you have, the Emperor looking to the past. We're going to look to that past, election. How are we going to, how is he going to win? Remember, he had a choice to make. He could either win the election or go to jail. Those were his choices. Okay. And so what do you think he chose? I mean, that's not, I mean, all you have to do is all you have to do is have just a basic understanding of how he works and go, oh yeah, he wasn't going to go to jail. And that was when, Elon Musk got involved. And, it really was almost like, I get this feeling that Trump was at his lowest. He knew he was going to lose. And because he was found guilty, he's 34 count felon, and, adjudicated rapist, sexual assault, and that judge did come out and say, oh no, this is what it meant. So those are the judge's words. And then Elon Musk got involved. Okay. That's when, the polling started getting closer. That's when, that's kind of when things started going off the rails for the election for our country, but now very quickly you get, that this comes to an end. Not our country. This administration comes to an end, and the people uprise. Okay. I think that whoever this King of Swords is, when the people really uprise, we've got to, this is not going to be the military. I mean, I will say, not that Trump isn't going to try it, but when it comes out that this election is in question, expect him to lash out, because that is, it is going to be the gasp, the last dying gasps of this administration. And they are going to do everything they can, okay, to hold on. So just, be aware of that. As I said, I don't like to fearmonger. I don't. That's just not me. But I do want to be real. It's really weird, because if I'm being Virgo realistic, I'm like, yeah, we're just stuck. If I'm being, like spiritually realistic and like, this is what I'm seeing in the cards, it's like, no, I mean, I would be shocked. And I don't know that I would be saying this if we didn't have that court case in New York, but I really think that that's going to come out, and that we're going to start getting those results. We are going to, and that something else that David said, and I always want to give people credit whenever I use like their interpretations, their words, their stuff. But his reading was it spreads like wildfire, and that's exactly what it is. That thing in New York, that is the little whisper, that is the spark that lights this entire fire and really moves our country on that new side, or that new path. Just know that it's not that I'm fear mongering. It's just I want you to be prepared. Okay. I want you to be prepared for, take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. Self-care, very important these next several weeks. I know, like, literally for me, when I get anxious and when things kind of get crazy, I have a hard time remembering, like, to eat or even to want to cook. So I swear to God, honestly, next week, sandwiches. That's what sandwiches and chips. There you go. Everyone make their own. Just so it's that kind of thing. That's why I wanted, like, how do you process stress? What do you do for self-care right now? That's the time to be figuring that out, because I really think that we are going to need it over these next several weeks. So, buckle up. I will be here doing readings. I will be here, doing this. And we, as a country, we will get through this. That I am sure of. Okay. So remember, authoritarian regime, fascist takeover, tyranny, not in the American people's DNA. And this administration is about ready to find that out, that this is not who we are as a people. So hang in there. And I will, trying to think, I'll probably link at least the all roads lead to the tower card, and I probably will link that. I'll put 2 videos up. I'll link the original all roads lead to the tower card, and then also that June reading, so you can see where it's like, it's obvious that would have been the Supreme Court, or anyway. I laugh at things like that. Like, I get so zoned in that energy that I kind of, anyway, I miss things, and I do laugh whenever I go back and see that and go, duh. So thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share, and I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.